which is, the people who talk too much in meetings and take up all the airtime. And suddenly you're left with, 5 minutes to discuss a really important topic. And you give the example of maybe using a talk time app and make sure that you document how much time it ran through, because so often you're in meetings where there's one person who's taking up 70% of the time and suddenly the meeting is done. So, so how do you handle the bulldozer type, Professor?
Yeah, we all know this person, especially during the era of Zoom when they would take up the whole screen. So I think, there's this misconception out there that talking the most gives you the most influence and the most social capital. It's actually not true at all. I've done a million studies where we've coded talk time and it almost never predicts anything interesting. What it does predict is perceptions of dominance that you have of yourself, which isn't totally surprising. It's a dominance behavior. It's not an effective, convincing behavior, persuasion behavior. So I think people have this lay theory that if they hold the floor the longest, they're going to have the most influence. And that's simply just not the case. And I think also people tend to free associate and not actually keep track of how much time they talk. A lot of people think out loud, especially if they have power. And I think the first step that you want to do if you have a bulldozing problem is to document it. So in your head, you might think that there might be kind of one problem, but in reality, there's another. Yeah. Bulldozers tend to not know they're bulldozers. And, there's not even consensus around how much time people are actually talking. So you first just need to document the problem. The first time I did this, it was awesome. I went to this kind of, I was giving a talk among a bunch of senior leaders, and at the table was the CEO, and everyone had told me that he talked too much, and he insisted that he didn't. And I had the group just use a talk time app and showed that he talked 600% more than everyone else. And he was shocked. He was legitimately surprised, because in his company, if you were talking for too long, you got interrupted. But he was so high up that just never had happened to him. And so he misperceived his own talk time because he underestimated his status.